But our next topic number 9, is about the most NFL-ready player coming out of the draft. I know you mentioned Kyle Pitts, Brandon, so you can either talk about him or maybe another player that you think is going to be ready to go from day one.
It's Kyle Pitts, baby. Kyle Pitts is the guy. I'm telling you. I think he is the most NFL-ready player now. He's better than Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. Like I said, the NFL is just hungry for quarterbacks so bad and needy for the quarterback position so bad that's why you're going to see maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks get drafted before Kyle Pitts. But realistically, this is the guy that is NFL ready right now. We're talking about a guy that is, I believe, 6'3", 6'4", 225 pounds, ran a 4.4, 4.5 40, okay, runs crisp routes, has amazing hands, has great strength. He's everything you want in an NFL tight end. And not only because he runs those great routes, he can be an NFL wide receiver, and you can split him out or you could put him in the slot. And it's a matchup nightmare for anybody. If you put a linebacker on him, he's going to run by him. If you put a defensive back on him, he's going to power him and outstrength him. This guy is the guy right now. We're talking, you want to see the next Rob Gronkowski? The next Rob Gronkowski is Kyle Pitts, and he's ready to go. I am telling you, man, I am pumped about this guy. He just engraved his name at the University of Florida as being one of their best players of all time in their Walk of Fame. And honestly, I think this guy is going to have a great NFL career. Whoever picks this guy up, he is going to be able to do so much for them immediately. He is NFL ready right now. He can step on the field, score touchdowns, and get a ton of catches. And I'd say, honestly, I'm going to predict his rookie year, 50 to 60 catches, 5 or 6 touchdowns, and maybe 600 to 700 yards because of it, and maybe even more because this guy, I'm telling you, the ceiling is up there for him. He is an NFL-ready stud right now. And then the other guy, we talked about him, is probably Patrick Surtain. Comes from an NFL pedigree family. I'm telling you, this guy is going to know how to break down film and break down NFL players because he's going to get taught by his dad even more than he's already been taught by his father. But then he's also come from one of the best Division I programs in college football history with one of the best Division I coaches with Nick Saban in the University of Alabama, who, like you said, they produce a ton of NFL talent, some that pan out, some that don't. But generally, why NFL teams go after Alabama's talent so much, obviously they win titles, but Alabama generally wins the recruiting battle. They generally have the best recruiting class. They're going out and getting 5-star high school studs. So generally, these guys will pan out like a Julio Jones and just turn into one of the most amazing players. So if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet more that a player's going to develop and pan out of Alabama than out of South Dakota. All right. And we've talked about it plenty of times on this show, right? That's a little hint at you know who, and we won't bring him up again. But yeah, I would bet more on an Alabama player than a guy like that. And so I think Patrick Surtain is going to be one of those other guys that is going to be NFL ready. He's lined up against receivers in the SEC, which, like it or not, it is the best football conference in the country, and they have some of the best players, and he's lined up against them. So I think those are the 2 best guys. If I'm going after a guy, it's Kyle Pitts and Patrick Surtain. They're NFL ready.
Yeah, it makes total sense. One of the knocks on Kyle Pitts supposedly is he's not a great blocker, but he's actually a better blocker than some people are giving him credit for. He's a willing blocker. He's got the size. He's got the length. He can do it. He's not Gronk. He's not George Kittle, but he can block just as good as Travis Kelce. He can block just as good. He's actually probably a better blocker than Darren Waller. So he's one of those guys where, and he's going to get better as a blocker in the NFL anyway, because most guys do, because they're going to be forced to block a little bit more in the NFL in multiple ways. But you can also split him out wide. He's that smooth of an athlete where you can split him out wide. So, if he fell to the Patriots, that's not going to happen. But I'd absolutely take him, because even though you've already got 2 really good tight ends that you just signed, you can split them out wide. You can use them in a million different ways. So, yeah, he's absolutely NFL ready. Surtain, I totally agree with. One guy that I think is NFL ready, Davonte Smith. That guy is a fantastic route runner. You know, he's not necessarily lightning fast, but he's fast. And everybody talks about his size. He's really small at 185, if he's even that. He might be 175. He doesn't really get beat at the line of scrimmage, though. If you go back and watch him, when teams try to press him, he's not getting like manhandled at the line of scrimmage. And that's what teams worry about with smaller receivers is, you know, really getting jammed at the line of scrimmage, something Ty Law and Darrelle Reeves used to do all the time with receivers. But that doesn't happen to him. He gets knocked around on the football field, gets right back up. It's not like he, you know, comes up, he's sucking wind, and he's got to sit out a play. You know, Davonte Smith is a football player. So with the way that he can get separation, he can get off the line of scrimmage, he can run great routes, he knows where to find the open spots and coverage. That guy, you can plug him in day one. He's going to be a really good receiver for you. So that's one of the guys that I would say is also a player that is NFL ready from day one. You know, there's a lot of guys in the first round that could go that it is based off of just their natural ability. I think one of those things is because a lot of guys didn't play this past season. You know, Jamar Chase didn't play this past year. There's a bunch of other guys that opted out this season. So, you know, Micah Parsons is considered one of those guys who it probably needs some time to develop, has all the talent in the world as a linebacker, but is a little bit immature. Doesn't mean he's a bad kid, but he's just a little bit, you know, he needs to grow up a little bit. You know, we talked about Trey Lance. You know, there's probably some of these quarterbacks. I still think Zach Wilson needs to kind of grow up a little bit. I don't know if he's ready to just be the starting quarterback for the Jets right away. So, you know, the guys that we just mentioned are the guys that are going to come in right away. They're going to play right away. They're going to be great players for whatever team they go to right away because of the way they play in the field and their maturity as players. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch to see those guys just jump in at the get-go for their NFL teams.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you that Davonte Smith is NFL ready. And I think, like, to compare it to a couple of guys, like one guy we just seen step away from the game, a Julian Edelman. You know, people didn't like his downfield speed, but a great route runner, a guy that had great hands, gets open, great body control, just a baller. And then maybe another guy is a Cooper Kupp or a Steve Smith. I think that's other guys, you know, that were small, underrated, and they've just turned into NFL studs. You know, so I think Davonte Smith is easily NFL ready right now and could definitely impact the game immediately. And I think another thing that's overlooked is offensive linemen. Honestly, I think offensive linemen coming out of college right now, a few of the offensive tackles that they have predicted to go in the top 20, I think those guys are also plug and play. And I'm not saying because the line's easy to play, it's not. But I think the offensive linemen in college are becoming so developed right now, not only physically but mentally, that they're generally ready to go day one. So I think those are a couple other positions that are just ready to go, offensive tackle. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Jamar Chase can do in the NFL and how he's going to develop. But you brought up a great point about Kyle Pitts, you know, not blocking. But I think, like you said, I think he's going to develop. I think that's going to be part of his game that he's going to develop. He's just going to clearly get stronger in an NFL strength and conditioning program. So like I said, I think, yeah, sky's the limit for Kyle Pitts. That's the guy to watch out for.